Hi guys, Paul from RotorVR here. Tonight I'm going to bring you a video of Elite Dangerous being played with my brand new DK2, which I got yesterday. Some of you might have caught my day one roundup. A day in which I spent most of the day just trying to get stuff to work. Those of you who've already received the DK2 probably know that not a lot of stuff works out of the box. In fact, almost nothing does. So most of my time was spent trying to get stuff to work. But I managed to get in touch with a few people who managed to help me out, and of many things we managed to get to work, including Sensor Peso and Technolust. We also managed to get Elite Dangerous working, and now Elite Dangerous has been constantly requested for videos since I got my DK2, and I know that a lot of people out there are hankering for seeing what it's like in the DK2 with head tracking and all the rest of it. Head tracking works. It's amazing, so I'm hoping this video should give you an idea of what it's like. Okay, so here we go. So that initial loading screen is the only thing that isn't fully tracked in virtual reality. That doesn't respond to head tracking. Everything else is fully positionally tracked. And what that means is, and a lot of people have been asking about how legible text is with the new 1080p OLED panel. Well, it's excellent anyway. Although Pentel Matrix has never been great at resolving text, it's because of the extra resolution it does very well. But look what you can do with the DK2. You can lean in to get more detail and scan across. And I mean, I actually spent quite a bit of time in the menu system yesterday just doing this, just leaning in, just thinking how cool that was. And the whole menu system is set up that they've really thought about the menu system, that you can just go straight into it, and the level of comfort that they've managed to and usability they've managed to get out of a virtual reality interface is brilliant. It's probably one of the best I've ever seen, actually. Okay, so let's jump straight in. I need to apologise in advance. So again, yeah, you can just lean into this 3D ship and have a quick look, and scan down this text, scan across, lean all the way in, and it's fully solid, excellently solid and real in front of you. So into the cockpit, and the first thing that hits you is the contrast of the new OLED panel. So you take a look up here, and the blacks are perfectly black. So and the stars really shine out as bright stars against the inky black background. So there's been a lot of talk, or a little bit of talk, about those that have received the DK2s about the so-called true black smear, which seems to only come about when you have a scene that's mostly lit, and there's this rather nasty smearing artifact that happens when you go from I think from brightly lit to dimly lit, or maybe the other way around. And there are sort of various ways to counteract it. I mentioned it in my roundup yesterday. But anyway, in this scenario where you have mostly black, it's beautifully contrasted. I mean, it's just, I actually sat here yesterday just looking up at the stars thinking, oh, it looks awesome. And of course, everything is positionally tracked, so I'm sat here in my cockpit, and I can lean into the text. Again, go back to the text thing, so these menus are wonderfully clear. You can lean straight in, scan across, have a look at these diagrams over here, and lean back out again. Look down at my body, there I am, with my arms, controls. Something freaky that does happen at the moment, and this is a little bit disconcerting, is because it's positionally tracked, so if you move backwards like this, your head slowly becomes detached from your body, which is a little bit weird, but anyway, that's fine. Obviously they haven't worked that out yet. Yeah, so the solidity of the cockpit feels fantastic, and you can lean over and just inspect things, have a look up at the little handle on the cockpit, and same over this side as well. You can lean all the way over. My head's going to go through the curtain actually at this point. That's great, and you can see these little details on the cockpit, these little scuffs. You can see, which is just beautifully, lovely attention to detail. Anyway, so let's get rid of the menu, and this glorious HUD system lights up, and my hands are getting ready to go. And they have this this contextual menu system. So if you look to your right, you get this menu that pops up, giving you some stats, and you can lean into that. Take a good look at that. I can lean all the way over here. Oh, I've just started to lose tracking there, so maybe my at the moment my camera's set up below my monitor because I was having some problems with it set up above. I haven't had anywhere near enough time to get a good sense of where that should be. I know that the recommended optimal is on the top of the monitor. I think something like 5 feet away. I don't have that much space in this room, as you can see. So anyway, so I can go all the way and look down here, look over my chair to the left, my keyboard over there. Again, my head's going through my the curtain in real life, and over here I've got, looks like my lunch is over there, lunchbox over there. And yeah, so extra detail, contrast, immediately, just wow, it just looks fantastic. There were a couple of artifacts other than the true black smear I spoke about in my roundup yesterday, and that was to do with the feeling of motion. So when your head is moving, and this is almost certainly to do with the low persistence of vision. That is, if you move your head at any reasonable speed, or even at medium speed, there's this ever so slight stuttering effect that goes on. And I noticed this back in CES when Ben and I got to try the Crystal Cove prototype. But I only had a couple of minutes to check it out, so I wasn't sure whether it was just me or not. But there's definitely something here. Now, whether this is to do with, you won't be able to see this on the video. Probably I can only see it through the Rift in low persistence of vision mode. But there's a definite stuttering when you move your head from left to right like this. Anyway, I heard on the forum, I think Boone from Oculus, who's on Reddit, said that that's another thing that they're looking into and they have a fix for. So again, it's early days for the DK2. So anyway, let's get flying around. So, and just the feeling of space, the feeling of space and the feeling of space, if you see what I mean, is just epic. Someone asked on the forums that whether or not, with the extra detail, that the 3D effect, the parallax effect, was more, you know, there was a better parallax effect and you could resolve more 3D depth. Well, yes you can, but I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that you now have this wonderful contrast ratio on the panel, so you're able to distinguish between layers much better anyway. And I mean, the DK1, it was a backlit LCD panel. It was, you know, had very low contrast ratios and smeared a lot, so it was very difficult sometimes to resolve these depths. The feeling of scale here, this asteroid I'm looking up at here, it's incredible. It's beyond what I felt in the Crystal Cove demo in Valkyrie, and I can't get enough of that contrast just looking at the blackness. Oh, it's just wonderful. Sorry, I'm getting carried away. I'm afraid that I've had Elite Dangerous literally 24 hours, or just over, so I know nothing about it, I'm afraid. So if I look like I'm just aimlessly flying around, that's because that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to think what you guys would want to see, to be honest with you. Maybe some vertical, so we can see what happens if I go up here. Oh, I seem to hit some sort of invisible ceiling there, and go all the way down. So because I've got the camera, look at that lighting. So the positional tracking camera is below the monitor, so I can do these sorts of movements without the camera, or going outside of the bounds of the field of view. Oh, this is getting a little bit twisty. Let's get that back on track. Fantastic. Okay. And so back to the resolvable detail. So look at this. I'm looking at this asteroid belt here. In the DK1 it would have just been a mass of brown, but now it's a resolvable field. It looks epic. It looks like, you know, the true scale. You can see into the distance to an extent anyway. And just looking at that horizon across between the asteroids, you know, in your field of vision, it's just incredible. The scale is epic. Planet off in the distance there. I think space simulators are going to see a resurgence. The space sim and the space combat sim really died a death back in the, I guess, the mid or early 2000s. But with virtual reality coming about, games like Elite Dangerous and, you know, Star Citizen, for example, are just going to come back, and I think virtual reality is a good catalyst for that. It's going to bring them back in a big way. Just awesome. All right. Wow. So that's a little taste of Elite Dangerous in the DK2. Hope you enjoyed it. Catch you again.